Diwali in her debut. Congratulations. With of course Meera and Muzaffar, and we've had the pleasure of having dear Aditi walk the ramp. आप पूछेंगे कि बेगानी शादी में अब्दुल्ला दीवाना मैं क्यों ये प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होल्ड कर रही हूँ इनके बिहाफ पर. It's only to ease things out and to tell you that Muzaffar has been a very close friend for a very long time, and of course also Meera. I've seen the wonderful work Muzaffar has done with craft. We've had the pleasure almost 30 years ago for making a film called Anjuman, which dealt with the plight of the chicken workers. So Muzaffar in his work has shown both his concern, his sensitivity and his empathy to the crafts people. I always say that in India, if you're looking at silhouettes, it's something that the West can probably do better than us. But what they can't do definitely is handwork, and that's what we need to take to them. I think it's a matter of great pride that Sama takes this tradition forward and tweaks it like the young do. I'll first give it to Sama and then everybody else.
Couldn't have had a better...
You don't have to do your work, I did it.
You can end it.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here. And I'd like to thank my parents for just for being born in their home and hence having this opportunity at this stage in life. And I hope you all enjoy watching the show. Something that's been really important to me growing up, it's been quite ingrained in my upbringing, is the concern for handcrafts. Not just from from the perspective of like just beautiful art that you wear on your body, but also from the perspective of just touching people's lives, from the people who make them to the people who wear them, and how it's really important that the people who wear them don't forget what effort has gone into making them look good. It's not just superficial. Fashion is not superficial. It's the second largest employer in our country after agriculture, and we have to acknowledge that and improve the lives of those who make these clothes. And that's what is really important to all of us. And this is something we try to show in the clothes, that you can have traditional clothes and they can still fit into our modern, globalizing lives, where nobody really, wears traditional clothes the way they used to anymore. So how do we take our heritage in embroideries and handwork and put it into a context that we can continue to enjoy going into the future and share with the rest of the world? Anybody want to ask anything specific? I think everything has been said. I think let's ask Aditi why she agreed to be with us today and wear this and look so beautiful in it.
I've actually always wanted to be associated with Gurdwara. I know Shabana Masi has been associated with the family, has worked with them. It's also been my dream to be in some way associated with them because they believe so much in the revival of handicrafts, in like Sama said, in making it a part of our everyday. And I think for handicrafts, to not be locked up in a cupboard and for it to be a part of our everyday is really important. For us to wear it with pride, for us to realize how much it enriches our lives. I think that is what makes the difference. And if we can do that, then nobody will ever tell us that it's a dying art or it's we need patrons for it. We ourselves have it within us to do that by making it a part of our everyday lives. And I think Gurdwara is so much about heritage and legacy, and for me to have been a part of to have been a part of this show, especially because Sama was so deeply involved and this is her first show. So it was very special for me, and this collaboration meant a lot to me. So I'm very, very happy to be here today. And I wish that I could dress like this every day.
We'll open the floor for questions. Anyone have any questions?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आज का दौर ऐसा है कि जहाँ हमारे जो ट्रेडिशनल कपड़े हैं, चाहे वो शेरवानी हो, चाहे वो धोती कुर्ता हो, चाहे वो अगर आप साउथ में जाएं तो आप देखते हैं कि वो किस तरह से लुंगी और शर्ट पहनते हैं, वो उसको और ज़्यादा लेकर आ रहे हैं, उसको और ज़्यादा लेकर आ रहे हैं। और मुझे ये लगता है कि ये एक बहुत हेल्दी निशान है, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान जैसे जैसे अपनी पहचान पूरी तरह से समझता है, उतने कॉन्फिडेंस से वो उन चीज़ों को सामने पेश करना चाहता है जो उसकी हिंदुस्तानी है। तो मैं नहीं मानती हूँ आपके साथ कि ये जो हमारे ट्रेडिशनल कपड़े हैं वो गायब होते जा रहे हैं। मुझे तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि दे आर कमिंग अक्रॉस इन अ मच मोर ट्रांसपोर्टेड वे, व्हिच इज वेरी गुड। You know, I just think that I was very impressed at this entire Lakme Fashion Week. The fact that we are talking about eco-friendly, sustainable, healing garments, I think is wonderful, because these are concerns that each of us who considers ourselves artists should be concerned about. What is even more interesting that I noticed this time is that there has been a conscious effort to have androgynous dressing. And that is being done with this notion of patriarchal structures of what is man or what is woman needs to be broken, and it can be reflected also in clothes. So I definitely think that there is a younger mindset operating here, and to do it through fashion, I think is highly commendable. Shabana, इजाज़त है सिमा साहब जी, शुक्रिया. So many congratulations for the show. Everyone was mesmerized. Who has inspired you to come in this, to begin this your endeavor and journey?
Actually, I've never thought of doing anything else. Just always watching my parents work growing up. And I've always also enjoyed art, and I was fairly alright at drawing and stuff. So I guess my mom would better answer. That it's just something that I've been doing since I could pick up a pen and write. Instead of writing, I would just draw dresses and clothes and shoes and everything. And उसके आगे कुछ फिर मैंने सोचा ही नहीं, बस यही फैशन हमेशा से I thought that would be the right decision for me.
Say that you studied fashion for 4 years.
I studied also in London for 4 years. I studied design. Then I did get a formal training as well, other than whatever I learned while watching them work. But it's just always been something I wanted to do.
I know that Sama's dream is to do a period film, isn't it?
Yeah, the costumes.
Aditi, I just come back to you. I know you must be feeling restless in this.
No, I'm not restless. I'm
Aditi,
hungry, so I am
Doctor, Shabana ji, we were expecting you also to be on the ramp.
She's here.
You know what is important? That I am with Meera and with Sama and with Muzaffar. Whether I walk the ramp, whether I'm holding this press conference, I'm there, and that is the important thing.
आप मेजबान के साथ भी जुड़े हो, ये एक अच्छा प्रयास है कि मतलब हमारे
देखिए, ये आप समझिए, मुझे पता था कि ये सवाल जरूर होगा कि भाई आप तो मिजबा के लिए हैं, तो आप कोटवारा को क्यों प्रमोट कर रही हैं. आप ये देखिए कि बेसिकली जो काम हम लोग कर रहे हैं, जो हमारी समझ है, जो हमारी वर्ल्ड व्यू है, वो सेम है. मुजफ्फर की जर्नी कोटवारा के साथ, मेरी जर्नी मिजबा के साथ, इसका जो बीच है, वो जो फिल्म अंजुमन हमने आज से 30 साल पहले बनाई थी, जिसके अंदर हमको पहली बार समझ में आया था कि जो लोग ये इतना खूबसूरत काम करते हैं, उनके साथ जो होता है, उनकी जो सिचुएशंस हैं, वो कितने तकलीफ दें हैं और उनको कितना बढ़ावा मिलना चाहिए. वहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक की ये जर्नी है. एंड वी आर पार्टनर्स, वी आर ट्रैवलर्स, को-ट्रैवलर्स.
अदिति, बुखार कैसा रहा?
कितना बुखार है पूछे?
हिम्मत से चलिए आप.
हिम्मत से चले,
हिम्मत से चली.
हारेगा वो हर बाजी जो खेले हम जी जान से.
अच्छा, after they have spoken, I'll be very silly saying anything क्योंकि उन्होंने इतना beautifully सब कुछ कहा है. मैं रैंप पे चलने के बारे में आपको क्या बोलूँ? मतलब मुझे मज़ा आता है. और you know when you're wearing clothes, when you're wearing something that you're very proud to wear, you know, something that you know means a lot, much more than just a garment, much more than just something of beauty. It carries a lot more with it than just that. It's very special. And I know that the people behind it, their intention is so much greater than just to make a beautiful garment. That it means a lot to be a part of it.
I added like what feeling like a princess or bride.
नहीं ये मैं आपको थोड़ा छोड़ दूँगी, नहीं तो ये non-stop quote हो जाएगा.
अच्छा ये लोग वो आपकी पद्मावती से मतलब है?
मैं कैसे आपको ये सब बता सकती हूँ? मुझे मार पिटेगी. ये कोटवारा का लुक है. ये it's very special to कोटवारा and I'm very happy to wear it. And just me, my bukhar, khansi, zukam has not mattered to me at all. It's on hold just till I finish what I'm here to do today because it's so special. So bhaga dena padega.
Okay, I have a question. You're opening the show with a very beautiful dance sequence. I don't know who was the artist and what inspired you to open up with that sequence.
The dancer was a young girl from Delhi, Shivani Verma. She's very talented, and in fact she has worked with Muzaffar on many of his projects. She's danced for him in Jahan e Khusro, our Sufi Music Festival, in the Wajid Ali Shah Festival in Lakme. She's very sensitive, and the interesting thing is that she's always happy to do something different and something new. And she's very flexible, so we wanted to, and even the music that she sang on, Har Jalio, is a composition by Muzaffar, sung by a man called Shafqat Ali Khan, and it's a very beautiful composition, and it was in a nice sensitive way to start an evening.
Was she wearing one
Yes,
of the
of course. Yes, of course, absolutely.
It was really beautiful, like to start the show with the dance.
Thank you very much.
It's a proud moment for you all to have your daughter at the Lakme.
Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure. She's worked very hard in the last few years, and what more could a parent want than to have their child join the. Hopefully, she'll take it forward and do her own thing, and happily retire us very quickly.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care. Take medicine. Thank you. Rest. It's cold outside.
कर ले इसी को करने दो भाई पूछ लूँ, बाद में बात करूँ?
think Lakme Fashion Week because I live in Goa and Bombay is the closest for me.
हाँ ठीक है.
The collection is basically, it's not a collection but it's a wardrobe presentation, so there were like bits and pieces of all sorts of clothing that I like, or I think most people would like to wear for a very long time, so it was just that.
Yeah, and also the
Done.
and also it's a kind of collection that's been pieced together from well, you know, the trimmings, the pieces have been sourced from all over the place, all over the world on Savio's travel. So I feel that makes it very special. So it's bits and pieces that come together from all over the world and used to construct these garments in a very kind of offbeat manner, which I think is key to your collection. No?
Yeah. I think more of the two, yeah.
Any questions, guys?
Can I give it back?
ऐसे बोल दो.
Okay.
You just said it's very offbeat. Could you just elaborate more on that? It's like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. So basically,
Can you hold the microphone closer?
So basically, I love cartoon cutting.
You have to hold the mic closer.
Close
Cartoon
up.
cutting, and I like to twist things a bit. I hate the boring stuff. So mainly the garments. I mean, you could see a trouser that's become a dress or a top or
Cadia jacket
a
that I'm
Cadia
wearing.
jacket. What Sasha is wearing is from a fisherman trouser construction, which can be unbuttoned, and you can place the buttons wherever you want to create the fall that you want. So basically, it's a lot to do with pieces of clothing that are not. I mean, they could be a basic singlet top, but you know, we would probably invert it upside down or cut it on a bias, or the fabric could be a little bit awkward in terms of the style that comes along with
Like
what is
bandhani.
expected. Like the bandhani dress, what we saw the last dress was more of it looked like a knitted dress, held with safety pins. So things that are kind of
You said you're from Goa, so you brought me a lot of, like you said, the fishermen fabric
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you brought me a lot of Goa side of Goa to your collection as well. Like,
I mean, I live a very relaxed life in Goa, and I think my work is
कौन frame में आ रहा है मैं?
an extension of my life in Goa. I don't have a season as winter in Goa, so as a result, I like clothes that are kind of easy and relaxed, and you know, so that's what. Yeah, so that's how easy that is. Yeah.
Any more questions?
No. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, there. There. Front. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a fantastic show.
Thank you so much.
And of course, we have the gorgeous Padma Lakshmi, you know, absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Tarun, would you like to talk about your collection and
ये bottle हटाओ तो यार.
why Padma?
Sure. Well, very briefly, my collection always kind of evolves. It's never revolutionary on the ideas I work with all the time on how to be India modern.
Pani, हाँ.
How we take something that's Indian, instead of going backwards into time and being the Maharaja syndrome, which is okay but for bridal, then we have to find a contemporary thing, because that's the only way Indian fashion can be remotely have a chance to be global if people don't have to tie and drape. And the other thing that I love, as you all know, is the drape form, which we're losing in India, so we structure the draping in everything. So it looks like things are loosely tied and wrapped. That's the basic thing. It was a lot of ivory, a lot of prints. It's for summer. It's see now, buy now, it's already in the store. I've normally always believed that the clothes should be the stars of the show, and rarely do I allow a showstopper to upstage these clothes. But when I heard it was Padma, I thought it was the perfect choice, because she's here, by the way, to launch her 2 books. She's on a book promotional tour, and this is by chance that she's here. So to me, that's an amazing feat already. She wears her age, she wears her confidence, she wears her Indianness. She embodies what I'd like to think our kind of woman is, who is India modern. She's lived abroad, she's very proud of her Indianness, she writes books. Is this a press conference about these clothes or Padma? Anyway, anyway, that's why Padma. And I let her tell you, it was just my good luck that she happened to be here. And when Jasprit Chandok of Reliance IMG rang me and said she's here, I said, don't even think twice. She's better be in my show and not on the show. And it's great that we worked out, because we shot many years together in a dismal film that sang off the gateway of India straight into the ocean.
But the show was beautiful,
Yeah.
and my outfit was glorious. I looked fabulous.
We've met here and there in Delhi, so it's been great to reconnect. It's been fun. It makes the process fun. And like I said, and like you all saw, she embodies, I love the way she went striding down. She moves her hands like she's walking on the streets of New York. And that to me is an attitude.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me, and especially to Tarun. I've never walked at Lakme Fashion Week, and so to do that at this point in my career, and to do it for such an amazing, iconic designer who really defines what the best of Indian fashion is, has been, and will become in the next decade or two is truly an honor. I was very tickled to see my old friend again. Beyond how talented he is and how visionary he is about his clothes and about bridging this gap between East and West, he's also a really nice person. He's also really fun to hang out with. And Tarun and I have known each other for years, and I don't see him often. I see him sporadically every now and again, but whenever I do, it's like we never ever left each other's side. And,
Right.
and when you have people who are so talented but are fun to work with as well, it's truly inspiring, and I'm just very happy to be here. I'm glad I didn't fall.
It's totally mutual. If she felt, she'd have made it cool. It would have been the new thing. Everyone would have wanted it in their show, so but we're glad she didn't fall.
I'm glad I didn't fall. There you go.
Thank you.
We didn't know one-on-one interactions, so any questions, guys?
This particular notice in the show, you have this motif of the rose, the red rose. Was it intention that you aim to put it on certain outfits and not all of them?
Well, actually, the way this evolved was that we had a painter come into the studio, an artist who painted all these motifs. We had an artist come into the studio, and you can do these things in India, because I got tired of using these prints that we bought out of the Italian studios, and then they started looking very generic. So I thought, why not get a painter, because we have a little foundation that we support these guys, and some of them work as teachers, and he sat there for 2 months painting just beautiful motifs from books, from old Mughal things, from flora and fauna books, insects, there were butterflies. These were all painted, and then these were digitally removed and calibrated and put into the prints in a random way. So it just depends where it went. We tried screen printing. We wanted to move away from what had become our typical jewel look into something fresh and easier. As you notice, there's almost nobody here in Indian clothes. So Indians are wearing a lot of Western clothes, and they wear Indian clothes for very ceremonial functions. And we want to give them an alternative that is Indian and has the drape, but it's contemporary and suits and flatters them for color and form. But that doesn't have to be a cheap dress, because that's what's available here and doesn't suit most Indian bodies. So you can wear the anarkali as a dress, you can put on a churidar, you can drape a scarf around, you can belt it. You got to be free with clothes. Anyway, that's the story of the rose. Sorry to digress. As usual, verbal diarrhea.
Was this salmon pink is one of my favorite colors, and obviously I don't wear gagras with a 10-meter diameter every day, but
great color.
It is. I'm stealing this. It was made for me, so I'm just putting it in my purse. I just want you to know that.
Do I have a choice?
No, you don't.
I'm asking. If she decides she's doing it, it's going in her purse.
I have a very big purse. So, no, I do wear clothes like this. I tend to mix and match. So if I was wearing, one of his beautiful, heavier gagras, I would probably wear it very low on the hip, and I would wear it in New York or Paris or wherever I was. I would wear that with like probably a little t-shirt, like just to break it up a little bit. There aren't that many occasions that I have to wear a full, as he says, the traditional thing. I felt incredible in that first outfit. I felt like some Mughal bride going down the runway. I mean, I don't think I even looked that beautiful at my own wedding. It was beautiful. And so it's also that garment that I had earlier is very light, which is very important, because you want a woman to have something that's very grand when it's the right time, but you also want her to feel like herself. And I certainly felt like that in that outfit, as well as this. I mean, I would wear this with a pair of jeans and a leather jacket and call it a day, maybe some strappy heels. I find the thing that's beautiful about his clothing is that it is very versatile. I went to the boutique for my fitting, and I found a sari with this beautiful, like malmal, full sleeve gathered blouse with little tiny pearls for buttons, and I'm going to wear that not as a sari blouse, but I'm going to wear that just as a blouse with some shorts or a beautiful organza skirt, and then I'll wear the sari too, and some other things that I found. But I think the one beautiful thing about his clothing is that not only is it modern, but it's very timeless. I know that he does 2 shows a year, and so he probably wants you to focus on what's in the stores now. But I have to tell you, there's pictures of me online in a beautiful maroon outfit, very transparent, but very beautiful. And I still love that outfit. I mean, that outfit is like 15 years old or something, and it's still timeless. And, I think like just after that, I think Halle Berry wore like the very similar dress that she won the Oscar for. So it just goes to show you that he's always thinking ahead. But it doesn't matter if you have a Tarun piece from today, from yesterday, or a decade ago. It really stands the test of time. From that Ivory series, she had just a beautiful skirt, and it looked so grand, but there was no embroidery in it. It was just beautifully like cut work. I'm sure I'm not going to describe it properly, and then a really short, very simple choli blouse with a round neck. And I think she had also a chunni, and I think I would like that. There were several in that first series of creams that I thought was stunning. And I think that color also suits our skin. It's very flattering, whether you're really tan or in the winter. It's beautiful. I mean, in the West, we call that winter white, so you can wear it all year round.
The Kora Kapra.
Kora Kapra is fantastic, and it's really light, but it has a beautiful weight to it. So when you spin, it just catches the wind. I saw girls running, backstage, and I wish I had my phone on me, because it looks so poetic to see these lovely girls,
That would make a great shoot. What an idea.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shoot.
Any more questions? So what would be your favorite Indian attire?
I mean, I think the sari is a beautiful garment. So I think there are a million ways you can drape the sari, whether you wear it in a Gujarati style or, however you want to do it. One of the things I love about Tarun is that he makes it really easy for people like me who don't wear saris every day by, kind of draping them. And otherwise I use like 45 safety bins in my saris.
It kills the drape.
Yeah, it does. It snags the fabric and it's horrible. But I mean, I think the sari itself is something that's so versatile. But I love a good gagra. I mean, I love a really low-waisted ghagra with nothing but like some beautiful heavy payal and being barefoot. To me, that rustic look is just so feminine. You know, it's like those old temple
Paintings, yeah.
Yeah, paintings, and you really can't beat it.
Well, we do a lot of things that are now for the ready-to-wear, which is much lighter. We use computer-engineered things. We do a lot of printing that's digitally done because you can do colors that you couldn't possibly do by screen, and you can engineer the printing. So it's great for production. We do a lot of soldering of crystal, Swarovski, and light embroideries in the factories in Calcutta, and machine embroidery. That's for the lighter range like tonight. It's not very heavy on heavy handwork, and also plissé. So we do the prints and have it permanently pleated so that you can wear it for 6 hours and it's not crushing. To me, that you can travel, you can pull things out of a suitcase, put it on right away. These are modern requirements, and that's why people in the abroad wear most of their clothes have a synthetic blend, because it's sort of wash and wear. They don't have time, they don't have the hobbies. So we're going to incorporate this, and so we're going to lose it all to that. You know, you'll bring out your big kanjivaram for the big wedding. So we're thinking always about how to break this up, and we had the printing sari, which you described with a little malmal ruched blouse. It's on linen with a classic border, but printed in an asymmetrical way, which on screen might not be possible. So you have to also give the younger generation freshness, so they don't want to look like their grandmothers anymore. It's just a fact of life. So we work on these things, and the draping we learned over years. We sometimes get Italian drapers or pattern makers in to help us. But now, my studios, it's like Chanel. She was never trained, but by the end of her life, nobody could do a shoulder on a jacket. Even today, the Chanel jacket is kind of, something legendary. So a studio develop its own techniques as it goes along and keeps battling at something, It's all a process of trial and error. Thank you.
One last question. How has your tour been? How has your India tour been?
It's been great. I was just at the Kalagoda festival, and I did an inaugural talk there, and after it was finished I had to tear out of there and come here to be in time for hair and makeup. It's been really wonderful. When I usually come to India, I don't work here, and I usually just wind up spending time with my family, and I've always missed having a grown-up life in India that was independent.
We talked about last night, yeah.
And I know people like Tarun, but I can count on one hand the people that I know like Tarun that I keep in touch with here, just because I'm not in the milieu. So to go around the country and travel with my 2 books has been quite moving. It's been really great to have the feedback from people who have read it, and I wanted Indians to like the memoir. It was very important for me that it resonated with everyday Indians or my peers in this country, and I'm very happy to say that I think it has. I look forward. We're doing more. We're doing 4 more cities. So tomorrow I'm going to Hyderabad, and then after that I'll be in Delhi, and then I'll do the huddle for the Hindu newspaper there. It's a Think Conclave. I think it's the first year they're doing it. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be doing my last events in Chennai on Valentine's Day.
Hi, Padmanashi, this is Priyanka. I wanted to know that how different or how similar is the paparazzi culture in both the countries. Like recently, Priyanka Chopra said that that the paparazzi culture in the US is too much to be taken by Indian celebrities. So what is your take on that?
I would imagine if you're somebody like Priyanka and you're coming from this culture to that culture, it could be quite a shock because she's already such a big star here. So she would be used to a lot of attention, but it doesn't really compare. It's not on the same level at all. Here I've been able to move quite freely. People are very respectful. They ask if they can take the picture most of the time. In New York, it's pretty unbearable. I have, paparazzi parked outside of my door, my very door, and it actually stops me from walking my daughter to school as often as I would like. It's gotten so bad that actually we've had some of our actresses go and lobby Congress to make laws to, especially for our children. Like, I want Krishna to have a normal life. And so when she's a grown-up, if she wants to be in the limelight, that will be her choice. And I try not to show her face directly when I put up a picture on Instagram or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I mean, a basic Google search will get you millions of pictures. And so it's a little hard. It's especially hard when you're trying to shield your family from that, because I've signed up to be in the public eye, but you know, those close to me are very private people, and they haven't. And so far my family's been really supportive. And I don't have it nearly as bad as, you know, many A-list people who are in the limelight. Like, you know, I mean, I just have a TV show on food, and I somehow managed to get way more attention than I should from my career. But if you're somebody who's really like a movie star, like Nicole Kidman or something like that, it can really be obnoxious. And I've had friends in that situation, and it's not pleasant. It almost becomes a little bit dangerous.
What is the best part of being Padma Lakshmi?
The best part of being Padma Lakshmi is being...
I can't say model, because you can say model, supermodel, cook, chef, everything. So I just say.
The best part of being me is that I get to be Krishna's mom. It's really the best thing that's ever happened to me, and every day is a joy and is a new discovery. And the good thing about having a child is that you get to experience all of the simple pleasures of life, whether it's ice cream or sand between your toes, anew, like a child, and it really makes you appreciate those things. And it's also given me a greater sense of humor, because I don't sweat the small stuff anymore. I don't really care if I gained 5 pounds, or, you know, the book didn't sell X amount of copies, because at the end of the day, when I'm 80, I'm not going to remember that. I'm going to remember my toes in the sand with Krishna.
You speak so well. God bless you. I want to read your memoirs on the plane. I should have taken a copy.